From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the latest news blast. LGBTQ Nation is reporting that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth insulted trans women during his keynote address at this year's Special Operations Forces Week. Everything starts and ends with warriors, from training to the battlefield, he said. We are leaving wokeness and weakness behind. No more pronouns, no more climate change, obsession. No more emergency vaccine mandates. No more dudes in dresses. We're done with that. Shh. The crowd laughed and then applauded. The speech took place on May 6, the same day the U.S. Supreme Court said the administration can implement the transgender military ban while the lawsuits against the policy proceed. Since the lawsuits could take years, there are an estimated 8,000 to 15,000 trans service members who could be kicked out of the military due to this Supreme Court decision. On his show, former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer praised the speech, declaring that the military is not a social experiment. Focus on defending the country. That's what it's all about, he said. However, a 2016 study by the Rand Corporation found that trans people do not harm military readiness and that foreign militaries have successfully enlisted trans military service members without any negative effects on effectiveness, readiness, or unit cohesion. The study also found that the cost of trans-related medical care is exceedingly small relative to the Department of Defense's overall healthcare costs. In fact, in case you didn't know this, the U.S. military spends 7 times as much money on Viagra as it does the cost of gender-affirming care for trans soldiers, sailors, and Marines. 7 times as much on Viagra. What is that telling you about the U.S. military? And now for a moment of clarity and commentary. Pete, listen up, bruh. First, pronouns are a part of speech. You probably wouldn't know much about parts of speech as you worked as a so-called journalist at Fox Noise before assuming your current position at the bar. As Secretary of Defense. As for being woke, allow me to explain what the term means the way you have been using it. Being woke means having empathy for people. It means treating them the way you want to be treated. While most members of the armed forces prepare and train for war, most are not actively engaged in it on an ongoing basis. They are trained to treat one another with respect, dignity, and honor. As for climate change, you may be too young to remember the loss of the dinosaurs, but your orange boss remembers family members being eaten by dinosaurs and surviving climate change back then. Humans are rapidly advancing the rate at which our planet is warming, and we are overpolluting our planet. Generations from now will thank us for not trashing the planet while we have at least a modicum of control over it. As for no more dudes in dresses, at least on this one point, he is somewhat right, okay? While soldiers, sailors, and Marines are in uniform, none of them are wearing dresses. They wear attire that is appropriate for the occasion and their individual rank. Whether they are in Class A uniforms or camo or some other uniform befitting their job, no one on the battlefield or serving at their duty station or wherever they may happen to be is wearing a dress. One other thing that they aren't supposed to be doing is drinking whiskey at 10 a.m., but I suppose that rule doesn't apply to the SecDef. Get over yourself, Pete, bruh. No one likes you with the Pentagon, and using transgender service members as scapegoats to cover for your own incompetence is beyond disgraceful. And that is our news blast for this hour. If you are watching our videos on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the PEP Radio channel. Download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. Now back to more music on PEP Radio.